Sure, I think that probably needs a description or an introduction. So Bannkörbe, it's a type of beehive that were found mostly in northern Germany between 16th to 19th century. And these hives are particular in the fact that they're skept hives, so like kind of basket hive built with straw and covered usually with cow dung to protect them.
Und die Bannkörbe haben nochmal ein eigenes Feature, könnte man sagen, weil sie diese sehr charakteristische, bizarre Maske haben, durch die Bienen ein- und ausfliegen konnten. Und das Interessante ist nicht nur die Form von den Bannkörben, die so ein bisschen fernab der Normalität ist, sondern auch die Funktion, weil Bannkörbe nicht nur zur Honigernte genutzt wurden, sondern auch Unterschlupf für Bienen gewähren sollten und böse Geister fernhalten sollten.
And it's important to say that these hives were quite rare, so it's not like you wouldn't find an apiary with like 20 of them. So usually it was skept hive, so normal classic hive in form of a basket, and then one or two Bannkörbe were placed usually at the corner of the apiary to protect all bees present there. The first thing you see, it's like a pattern on the floor, which is the abstract representation of a round dance from a bee. And this is kind of giving indication to the viewer that there's no precise narrative to the show. That's basically like a feedback loop in itself.
The exhibition consists of a selection of photographs that Aladin took of the Bannkörbe that he's researching. That's one part of the exhibition, and then you have a visual research wall.
So it's really a large collection of material. So it goes from mainly archive images, which have been collected throughout the project in order to kind of explore the cultural belief beyond the beehive. But you can also see objects, books, like original books that are used for the archive material, but also objects like beekeeping objects that are collected. And opposite of this wall, kind of continuing, you can also see like a mask, which is like a traditional original old mask that was on a Bannkörbe.
Und dann gibt es noch den Videoraum als Raum im Raum, in dem man 12 verschiedene Videos aus einer Forschungsstudie sehen kann.
So it's pitch black, you have like red light on the ceiling, and then on the side you have screens that show basically the life of a bee.
And there we really dive into the beehive, so to say. So it's a smart hive where we can really see in great detail the bees, all of the stages of the bee's life inside a beehive.
So APN is basically a DIY research project that founded about 10 years ago, and it's a self-proclaimed ministry of bee that's been found to protect and to explore our relationship as human with bees. And this take many different shape. One of the projects made through Appian is the show at CO called Bannkörbe, and the Appian Index. It's another project of Appian, which is basically a database of all the material I've created or gathered around this research. So each images I create or I collect get like an ID numbers, and then you can find it back on this Appian Index.
Und in der Zukunft soll dieser Appian-Index immer weiter gefüttert werden, es soll immer weiter Material hinzugefügt werden, und es dient eigentlich als offenes Archiv für alle, die sich mit Material aus der Imkereigeschichte beschäftigen wollen und für alle, die sich für die Beziehung zwischen Menschen und Bienen interessieren.
Usually what I do to make it easier, I call myself an artist if I'm a scientist and a scientist if I'm with artists. But beyond the joke, I guess my work and my position, I really try to stay between both, so keeping a foot in each side. So I still publish academic article, and at the same time I do art exhibition. Even though if I realistically put it, most of my funding and the support comes from the art world. So for me, I'm probably a bit more of an artist, but I still keep trying this left foot in the academic field.
Neben der Ausstellung haben wir auch ein Buch zum Projekt gemacht mit dem Titel Bannkörbe, und dieses Buch besteht aus einem Archivteil und einem Bildteil, also eigentlich ziemlich ähnlich wie in der Ausstellung.
The book is kind of built up as a beehive, I think. So in the center you have the images that Aladin took, all the 59 images of the Bannkörbe. And then around it you have the visual research that he's done to sort of contextualize the history in which the Bannkörbe as a phenomenon is embedded.
Ich glaube, Bass hat als Autor, der sich mit vielen verschiedenen Disziplinen beschäftigt, noch mal einen anderen Schwerpunkt reingebracht, weil er versucht, dieses sehr spezifische, recherchebasierte Thema noch mal in einen größeren Kontext zu setzen und mit ja, philosophischen Theorien in Verbindung zu bringen und uns zu zeigen, warum ist es denn überhaupt wichtig, dass wir uns mit diesem Thema beschäftigen.
So the essay in the book really departs from Aladin's research and then sort of broadens the theme of human-animal relationships. And I approached it from the perspective of technology. Technology as something that not only mediates, but really sort of is at the core of how humans and animals relate to one another. Aladin's project sort of shows us, and brought to my attention as well, is that the history of the beehive as a technology consists of many different histories, many different stories, not simply the one we have today. Many different stories about how to keep bees. And in those stories, there is sometimes much more care for bees, which we might have lost a little bit today.
I think it's really important to underline as well that not just honeybees, that usually beekeepers work with it, but like all type of bees. It's why like when I describe the work, it's like basically a ministry of bee that's in charge of the relationship between humans and all bee species, because we have about 7 social species of bee that are used in beekeeping practices, but overall there's more than 20,000 bee species that are mostly solitary and much less protected than honeybees by beekeepers, so they're kind of left and then in danger. So that's kind of the underlying key of the work.